Into the High Noon Report for a Friday afternoon. We made it short week. Labor Day made this week kind of fly by. Hi, I'm Pugs Moran. We do this every Monday through Friday. Did we do one Monday? Yeah, we did. We did one Monday. We did a Labor Day show. Yeah, you're darn right we did. Monday through Friday at high noon. I sit here. I go through all the day's news, the headlines, the trends. People come in the chat room. Come where my chatter's at. Got a late start with today's show. I didn't. Typically, what you have to do is you have to schedule the show. And I like to do that, a half hour, 40 minutes, and then it goes around and it tells people. Today, I didn't do that. Today, I scheduled the show at 12:04. It was a mistake. I forgot. I apologize. What is this show? This show is, as I said, it's a rundown, a list really of all of the hot topics, current events, trends, headlines, whatever it is that people are talking about today. I try and give it to you. I don't just give you the news of the day, though. I don't just talk about today. We do a couple of segments before we get into the trending topics and headlines. We call them, a 30,000-foot view of what this day is represented, really. We break it down into three segments. The first one we call Erstwhile on this day, where we take a look back at history to see the events that have shaped how we perceive this day throughout history. Then we look at people who were born on this day, birthdays. We celebrate birthdays, and then deaths. We get to the people who died, and then this is where we all get to sit in judgment and decide their fate. Are they in heaven or are they in hell based on whatever knowledge we have of their existence? Okay, so after we do those three things, then we get into all the hot topics. Show should take about 2 hours. There'll be no breaks, no interruptions, no commercials, no songs, no bits, no nothing. Just me, stream of consciousness, talking about the world as it has unfolded and as it does unfold. Hold on, I need a drink. And then I got some things to say to you people. Hi, Cameron. We got Cam. We got Sally, Mama B. We got Jen. We got Leslie. We got Barney. We got the other Leslie. Oh, we're Full Metal Leslie. We're not Full Metal Leslie. We are still Leslie McDaniel short, but that's okay. That's okay. That Leslie's got 4 last names, so she pops up with different last names. A couple of things. So we didn't do a Radio Misfits show. The Radio Misfits stream is the second stream that I do every day here on the RadioMisfits.com, Radio Misfits podcast platform for all your podcasting needs. Check out Radio Misfits. They got great stuff, talented people. The Radio Misfits show. We do that one at 9 o'clock. It's myself, James Parker, and E. Although E's got some major construction going on at his place where he does the show from, so he hasn't been on in a few days, but he'll be back. We didn't do a Radio Misfits show last night because it was a Thursday night and freshman football here in the great state of Texas. Thursday night lights, Thursday night dusk. I don't know, it got dark at 8 o'clock, but the game was well over by then. Hell, my son's team, the Plano East Panthers. Okay, so you guys, look, let me brag a little bit. We're just gonna get this out of the way because it's gonna be a dad moment. First of all, the boy didn't play yesterday. Oh my God. He didn't play at all. He was sidelined. I told you about the ankle thing at the end of the day yesterday. He thought he was still gonna play, right? He didn't realize. I'm like, no, dude, they're not gonna let your ankle is not, you can't play on that ankle. So this is it today. Here, I'll show you a picture of it. This is it today. The swelling is down, but you can still see, all the what the heck happened there? Sorry, hold on. So he didn't play. And you know what else he didn't do? Here we go. Look at that. Yeah, he was hobbling around pretty good. He got it rolled up on in practice on Tuesday. Had him on crutches on Wednesday. Still thought he was going to play on Thursday. I'm like, Travis Kelce ain't playing. You think you're playing? But here's what he didn't do. So they played at Rock Hill. Are you guys Dallas-Fort Worth people? Are you familiar with Rock Hill? Because it's one of these new places. My God, you guys. I've been spending a lot of time in the far north Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex suburbs, exurbia, if you will, the great expanse. Why the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex is the fastest growing major metropolitan area in America. I mean, it is just so big up there. Everything is big up there. My God. I bought property up there years ago, and there was nothing. There was nothing. Of course, I lost that property, but whatever. It would be worth millions today. So we go up to Rock Hill, gorgeous, brand new high school. It's like off 380 in Coit. Okay, so it's way up there, way up there. 2 hours it took me in traffic to get to his 5:30 game. 2 hours. Spoke to him about 3:30 in the afternoon. Are you ready? Yeah. Gonna be a good game? Oh, yeah. Are they any good? I don't know. He doesn't know anything about his opponents. They just go in and play. He could have told me that he wasn't going to be playing before I went 2 hours all the way up North Texas. I would have gone anyway. I would have gone anyway because I'm freaking crazy Texas high school football dad now. I am losing. Here, we got to plug this back in. All right, So here's what happened. So it's week 3. Now, we went into this season, and I was very upset because if you remember, I looked at the schedule. I said, "Why are you playing more road games? Why are you playing? You're playing 5 games on the road. Wait, I think it's 5 on the road and 4 at home. You got 5 road games and 4 home games in a bye week. This is nonsense." So they open up with 3 consecutive road games. They haven't been home yet. We're 3 weeks into the season. They have not played a home game yet. So the first game they win 38-6 or 38-8. And we're thinking, okay, pretty good. Way to start the season. Second game, they win 62-6. And we're like, holy cow, that's crazy. That game got called in the third quarter. They didn't even play the fourth quarter. They were like, you guys scored 62 points. This team is terrible. You guys are just beating the snot out of them. Game over. And that was fine. You guys, they won last night 56-0. 56-0. My kids' team in 3 games, 3 road games, they haven't even played. They haven't even played a home game yet. And next week's a bye. They get their bye. They open up 3 games on the road, then a bye, then their homecoming. Like their first home game of the year is their homecoming. Well, I guess you got to get it in when you can when you don't have many. But man, this team, they went out on the road. They played 3 teams and they just destroyed them. They haven't even played a home game. Now they got a week off to get healthy because a couple of their kids are hurt. And my God, they're going to open up. Oh, I'm just so excited for football. And again, the only reason I brag about this is because you didn't hear me bragging for the previous 2 years because he played on teams that won 1 combined game in 2 seasons. So this is very exciting. So that's why there was no Radio Misfits show last night. I was out at his game, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen for the foreseeable future during weeks when he has games. Sometimes I'll be able to still do it because sometimes they play games. If they start the game at like 5, then I can certainly do a Radio Misfits show at 9. I can definitely be home in time for that. All right, let's get started. Let's talk about today's show. Oh, there's something else I wanted to mention. Just a little something I want to drop in your cup. So Kelly and I are doing stuff now. We're getting back into it. And tonight we are going to be recording a first podcast. Now we should have done this before, but we're going to be recording. Kelly's going to start doing her practical pick segment. So if you're familiar with the old practical pick segment, it's just an excuse to pick games. But, the thing about Kelly and me is that there's going to be a whole lot of conversation in there about other things. It's just not a football thing. Kelly picks the entire slate of weekend games based on mascots, not based on, injury reports or win-loss totals or any metrics like that. Now, like last night, this is why last night we were like, man, we got to record this. We got to do this. So last night is the reason. I'm watching this game, and I'm watching the Detroit Lions defeat the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm going, Kelly picked the Lions. She picked the Lions. She would have picked the Lion over an Indian chief. Why? Because the way she picks the games, it's a lion and an Indian chief in a room together. Who's walking out of that room? The lion is probably why. So she would have picked the Lions to win, and she would have been 1-0. So we're going to record that tonight. And that should be available hopefully by Saturday evening. And then, whatever. We're going to be doing it every week. Why? Because we're suddenly into football. No, because we need to start doing things together again. Because it's been made abundantly clear to me that I am worth more with my former partner than I am alone. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. All right. So we're going to start doing stuff. So be looking for that. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. And then there will be more stuff coming from us. We're going to start working together again. Look, why don't I know I'm hard to take. Apparently, I'm easier to take with her. Some people think that she's hard to take. And apparently, those people think that she's easier to take when I'm with her. So, and I love her. She's my sister. She's going through a whole lot of crazy stuff that she can't wait to tell you about. But We'll get into all of that. Okay. All right. Very good. So let's get on with today's show. The High Noon Show hopefully will continue. I certainly expect it will. Your tips certainly do that. You drove us. You got us through last month. I can't tell you. Oh, God. Thank you so much. It was so touch and go last month because the weekend, it was a holiday weekend that fell on like the first of the month. And it's like, oh, that kills you. That kills you for people tipping. People like to tip at the beginning of the month, but it fell on a holiday weekend, and I knew it was going to be a problem, and it was. It was so close. All right, let's get into today's show. The High Noon Report with me, Pugs Moran. It is the 8th day of September, year of our Lord, 2023. September the 8th is the 251st day of the year. There's 114 more of these remaining until the end of the day. End of the year. End of the year. What? End of the day. Erstwhile, on this day, let's take a look back at history and let's just talk about some of the things that have shaped how we view this day. On this day in 1565, St. Augustine, Florida, is founded by Spanish admiral and Florida's first governor, Pedro Moran de Alavez. I'm respectful. I respectfully attempt to pronounce that name. Again, the first Florida governor, Pedro Moran de Alavez. See, respectful. That's what respect's about. Going the extra mile. In 1892, the Pledge of Allegiance is first recited. Okay. Why? Why are we making all these kids who aren't really thinking for themselves recite this Pledge of Allegiance, sight unseen? Why? Why are we doing that? For my TED Talk on programming, which I'm sure you'll all be tuning in for, I break it down into steps. Pledge of Allegiance is certainly one of the first three forms of programming that we experience as children, certainly in America. God is the first. I talk a lot about program. What is programming? Nickelback is the worst band of just things that we thoughtlessly recite and believe to be absolute truth because it's all we've ever been told and we've never really thought it through. Nickelback is not the worst band of all time. I'm sorry. But religion, I always say it starts with religion. It starts with a baby in a crib and some grown adult going, Jesus loves you. You're going to go to heaven, because it's the first thing that the kid hears. So, that's part of the program. It's where it begins. Pledge of Allegiance is another big one. First time the Pledge of Allegiance was recited was on this day in 1892. On this day I'm not saying that the religious programming is a bad thing. Actually, yeah, you are. Hey, it's my co-host, schizophrenic me. I just believe, and this is the great thing about America, I just believe that one's faith is found and not pummeled into someone. I believe that life, I've said this a lot, life is the journey, the compilation of experiences and things you witness and way you feel about them are how you should decide what faith you are. It's how you get a whole bunch of phony people, a whole bunch of phony Christians that don't act like Christians all. A whole bunch of people that, think flying a plane into a office building on September 11th is the way that they can please their God. See, that's what religion does. You got to find it on your own. If you come to it organically, hey, like I say, I'm still seeking. I'm still looking. I was raised and brutalized Catholic, and I've spent my entire life trying to find what it is that makes sense to me. But that's what the journey is. Resist the programming. Again, can't wait for y'all to see my TED Talk on programming. On this day in 1900, the Galveston hurricane hits Galveston. That's a big one. That was a powerful hurricane, hits Galveston, Texas, killing about 8,000 people. Leveled Galveston, right? They have all those like old black and white pictures. You can see that. Ugh. On this day in 1921, Margaret Gorman, a 16-year-old. Remember that. 1921. There were no rules. There was programming, though. In 1921, Margaret Gorman, a 16-year-old, is chosen by pageant officials and dubbed the very first Miss America. A bunch of like 45, 50-year-old men sat in judgment and decided that a 16-year-old was the hottest. Okay, 1921. On this day in 1966, the landmark American science fiction television series Star Trek debuts. First episode. Well, I've got it. It's called The Man Trap. Star Trek debuts on this day in 1966. On this day in 1974, U.S. President Gerald Ford signs the pardon of Richard Nixon for any crimes he may have committed while in office. That's some bullshit. We just let that go. Just let that go, man. Imagine if Rachel Maddow was around when that Republican was doing that. Nobody said anything. It was just, well, I don't know. I guess I was 4 when this happened, so I don't really remember. But that seems like, why are you pardoned? I need to learn more about this. I need to learn more about it. It seems kind of sketch, right? All right, you leave because you're in trouble, and then I get your job, and then with your job, I have the power to make it so you're not in trouble anymore. It just doesn't seem American, or does it seem very American in 2023? I don't know. You be the judge. On this day in 1994, U.S. Air Flight 427. Okay, so I don't do plane crashes. I don't do plane crashes on this show. I used to, but then there are so many plane crashes. It just got so dark and so like, I don't ever want to fly again. So I had to stop it. This one, however, 1994 is important to me because my friend was on this plane. My friend died in this plane, Joe Duffy. U.S. Air Flight 427 on approach to Pittsburgh International Airport suddenly crashes in clear weather, killing all 132 people on board, resulting in the most extensive aviation investigation in world history and altering manufacturing practices in the industry. Here's why. They couldn't figure out why this plane crashed. They knew what happened. They didn't know why it happened. What happened was, so let me tell you about my friend Joe, who was awesome. Joe was a sales guy at the Loop radio station that I worked for. And Joe was one of the newer sales guys. So he didn't have the big accounts. So Joe had the accounts of people like me, who was a sidekick and a producer, that kind of thing. So Joe Duffy worked very closely with me and my friend Doc. He was basically our sales guy. Every time we would go out and do an appearance, or whatever, that was Joe Duffy. He set it up. He was our guy. He was so fun. He played characters on our morning show. Like we would use him as like he played characters. He had this voice that was like this, and it was a real voice. It was, if you think my voice is weird, his voice was like really, he was crazy. He was such a great guy, and he was going to his sister's wedding in Syracuse. And what happened with the plane was apparently this, by the way, this really freaked me out on plane travel because I had never known anyone who died in a plane crash. We were out with Joe the night before. He was talking about going to his sister's wedding. It was like, so basically what had happened with this plane was one of the engines had like shifted like on the, like, I don't know, but what happened was it was cruising at 30,000 feet. And then all of a sudden it just nosedived and the engines propelled it straight into the ground. Like it nosedived and went straight into the ground with full engine force. It's like the pilot didn't, but it's almost like the pilot went, I'm going to fly this plane into the ground at maximum speed. Happened in a forest. The descriptions of how the bodies were found hanging from trees. Ugh, terrible. On this day, 1994. On this day in 2022, we need to pick it up now, and this ain't going to help. On this day in 2022, Queen Elizabeth died. There you go. She died on this day in 2022. She died in a castle in Balmoral, Scotland. All right, this is the part of the show where we like to go into the birthdays. We're going to tell you people who celebrated a birthday today. We call it the birthday segment because, bonum, bonum, bonum. They say it's their birthday. Born on this day in 1922, Sid Caesar. Sid Caesar, American comic actor, writer. He died in 2014. Sid Caesar is one of the, I always say, I don't know if these people in the earliest days of TV were really the cream of the crop as far as available talent, but I know that what they were available. They were there. Sid Caesar. I watched Sid Caesar. People of a certain generation, like my grandparents' generation, there's never anybody funnier than Sid Caesar. And I'm like, yeah, but you only saw 5 people on TV who were funny. So maybe he was the funniest of the 5 people you saw on TV. It wasn't like today, where there's a million comics. I don't know. Sid Caesar. Hey, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1922. don't get you. Here's a guy I do get, born on this day in 1925. I consider him to be the single greatest comedic actor of all time. Nobody has absolutely blown my mind with just these nuanced, incredible performances, quite like the late, great Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers is the best. He is so good. Peter Sellers draft. Oh, we do it when he dies. We do it. And I don't even know if it's consistent because his movies are so good. Here we go. NFL style. We're going to pick the best movies from Peter Sellers' filmography. And it's a shockingly small filmography for someone who was as big a star as he was. I mean, in his time, in 1974, he was revered by everyone as like the greatest comedic actor of all time. We've had some good ones. There's been some good ones. I still don't think that there's been anyone as good as Peter Sellers. You know who's close? Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen needs to do more stuff. Sacha Baron Cohen's really talented in the same way that Peter Sellers was talented, in the ability to just completely disappear into a character where you don't even know what the real guy is like. Incidentally, Sacha Baron Cohen's idol, Peter Sellers. All right, here we go. First pick off the board, Peter Sellers' greatest performance, Dr. Strangelove. Of course, he plays multiple characters. Plays the president. He plays Dr. Strangelove. He plays Mandrake, the British Air Force lieutenant. Number 2, Lolita. So good. He is so good in Lolita, dude. He is so Claire Quinty. He is so good in Stanley Kubrick's Lolita. You will lose your mind at what a great actor Peter Sellers is. Number 3, his final film. He died very shortly after this film, Being There. If you guys have never seen Being There, 1980, it is so good. Being There is just a good movie. It's just a really good, interesting story. Peter Sellers plays a gardener, Chauncey. His name is Chauncey the gardener. He's a gardener for like one of the most important men in the world. Like imagine Rupert Murdoch dies, somebody like that, powerful guy. Imagine. Yeah, okay. So imagine Rupert Murdoch dies, and everybody else in his life has been long dead because the dude lived to be like 100 years old. So when people come to the house to sort of take stock of everything, they find Peter Sellers living there. Peter Sellers is the gardener, but everyone thinks that because he's there and he was first on the scene that he must be a close personal friend of this great man who has died. So they all misinterpret Peter Sellers. He's retarded. He's a slow-witted adult who is a gardener. They mistake his simplicity as being this extreme brilliance. And Peter Sellers, Chauncey the gardener, becomes brilliant. Number 3 off the board, Being There. He becomes a very important man, and he's stupid. Number 4, Pink Panther, because look, you can count all the Pink Panther movies. Clouseau, one of his great characters. There you go, Pink Panther. And 5th off the board in the Peter Sellers draft, The Party, where he just plays an Indian guy. Probably couldn't do that now. Why didn't they cast an Indian guy to play it? Because there were no Indian guys as funny as Peter Sellers. That's why. So he plays an Indian guy who attends this Hollywood party, and the whole movie is just the camera tracking this awkward fish out of water guy at this swinging Hollywood party. The Party, number 5 off the board in the great Peter Sellers draft. Undrafted free agents, all of them. He never did anything bad. All of them. You want to do Casino Royale? Okay, we'll bring that in. You want to do, what was that other? What's New Pussycat? Yeah, we'll bring that in. Sure, just invite all. He really didn't do that many films. That's why, born on this day in 1938. Here's another one. Adrian Cronauer. He's good, but in Vietnam. He's the real guy that Robin Williams played in Good Morning Vietnam. Born on this day in 1941, perennial presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. He's got to be done, right? He's got to be done. We got to be done with Bernie should do it, because we've just had like 3 years of old people can't be president. So Bernie's like older than all of them. Happy birthday, Bernie. Born on this day in 1957, Heather Thomas. Heather Thomas, ladies and gentlemen, the Fall Guy. Remember Jodie from the Fall Guy? She was one of the 2 Miracle Heathers in the 80s, if you are Gen X. There were 2 Miracle Heathers, Heather Thomas and, of course, Heather Locklear. Heather Thomas was on the Fall Guy. I'm not sure what else Heather Thomas was on, but she was in a bunch of things. Let's get a look at Heather Thomas. She was born on this day in 1957, which would make her 66. Man, do you remember Do you remember the pink bikini poster that Heather Thomas had where she was in the hot tub? Woo! Woo! Oh my God. All right, here she is today. Look at her. That's 60-something-year-old Heather Thomas. I don't know how I feel about this. Beautiful woman. I mean, she's Heather Thomas. She's working. She was an absolute stone cold 10 at her best. And if those people stay in shape and, keep, trying to be attractive, they can ride that up into their set. Look at Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren is like 80 and she's still a beautiful woman. So it can be done. Heather Thomas is going with the long hair. You know what? Look, Heather Thomas. I should be so lucky. Oh my goodness. Look at her there. She looks great. Heather Thomas looks great. Again, though, the long hair, I don't know. I like it when an older, mature woman doesn't try to have the long, because that hair should all be gray, right? And, anyway, look at her. Heather Thomas looking good. Heather Thomas's birthday today. Oh, boy. Made a lot of withdrawals from the spank bank of Heather Thomas in my day, I'll tell you. Born on this day in 1960. Oh, here's another one that I love. I love this woman. Amy Mann. Born on this day in 1960. Woo! Amy Mann's a songwriter, man. Woo! Let me tell you, she can write a song. She will make you cry. One of my favorite movies of all time is Magnolia. And one of the reasons it's one of my favorite movies of all time is because of the soundtrack, because of the music that is used in Magnolia. It is all Amy Mann. Amy Mann did the entire Magnolia song. There might be some scores or something, orchestration in there that she didn't have anything to do. But what I'm saying is the Amy Mann Magnolia stuff is beautiful. Amy Mann, Amy Mann from the 80s. She's a one-hit wonder from the band Till Tuesday. Hush, hush, keep it down now. Voices carry. Yeah, great song. Great one-hit wonder. The band didn't do anything, but she did. She went off. She became a songwriter. She's tremendous. Long time. I think she's still married to Michael Penn. Wasn't she? Yeah, she remember Michael Penn. He's another guy who had one hit. Man, that's a songwriting couple right there. That's kind of interesting. What did Michael Penn have? Michael Penn is Sean Penn's brother. And when Sean Penn was married to Madonna, Madonna got Michael Penn a record deal, and he had a big hit. Why? Because he was Madonna's brother-in-law. And you know what? That would be a problem if the one hit he had wasn't great. But the one hit Michael Penn, husband of Amy Mann, had was good, and I can't think of it. It was a good thing. Oh, No Myth. That's what it is. So she says it's time she goes, but whatever I know, she hopes that we be friends. So I don't, that song, No Myth? I think, I guess I can't say what's the chorus? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Amy Mann, I love her. She's terrific. Born on this day in 1971, David Arquette. He ain't terrific. He's irritating. I don't know what's up with David Arquette. That guy, go kick rocks, weirdo. Born on this day in 1971, umbilical cousins with David Arquette. Here's someone we can celebrate. God, I love her. Brooke Burke. Oh my God. Oh my God. So my thing that I really like, and we're talking, first of all, I've interviewed Brooke Burke. She seems like a nice person. Okay. But I'm just simply talking about the aesthetic, and she's a model. So, that's how she cashes her checks. So yes, I'm going to talk about the physical aesthetic of Brooke Burke, especially back in the day. Perfect. Just perfection. Perfect female. I currently believe that, so like, all right, so here's who I think are the two most beautiful women in the world. I think that Marina Bakatarana, I don't even know her name. She's the chick she's in Gotham. She was the wife in Homeland. Oh my God, she's beautiful. And she's the woman, they took her face and they sent it out into space like 20 years ago when she was a Brazilian model, because they wanted, if like aliens saw a human, they wanted it to be her, which, because she's beautiful. So there's her. And then there's a woman named, I think it's Moran, like spelled like, Pugs Moran, Moran Atta. She is an Israeli actress who was in the show Tyrant, and she's also, I think, one of the most beautiful women in the world. Brooke Burke was up there. Brooke Burke is, I don't know what that combination, she's fantastic. She's she's some kind of Asian. Like, I think she's maybe Filipino and like Irish, which is like a really great. I dated a girl who was Japanese and Irish. She used to like to get bombed on St. Patrick's Day. Oh my God. Yeah. I told that joke to her. She hated it. Anyway, that's a good mix. The Asian with like the dirty shanty Irish. That's a good mix. It makes like a really interesting, beautiful girl. I don't know about dudes. I don't know what it does for dudes. You ever notice that anyone with a little bit of Asian in them is more attractive? Or is that just me? Is that just my thing? Like just a little bit, not like enough that like, you're like, oh, that person's from Japan. No, I'm talking about somebody who's just like, their mom was like half Japanese and then half German, and their dad is like Italian and Greek, right? And then you get that mix and it's like, whoa. Hey, mutts. We know this from dogs. Mutts make the best dogs. Maybe this, dirty, mixture of none of these. Maybe God's telling us something with these beautiful women of mixed race. All right, born on this day in 1971, Brooke Burke. Born on this day in 1979, Pink. She's going to get the party started tonight. 79. How old is she? She's 44 years old. Pink. I like Pink. I like Pink a lot. Not necessarily her music, because, I don't really, I like Pink the person. Like, Pink the person is cool. Oh, guys, I ever tell you, I got into an elevator with Pink and her ex-husband having a fight. And it was really weird. And you knew they were having a fight because the minute we got into the elevator, they were like really tense and standing there. It was awkward. And I said, hey, you're Pink. And you know what? In that moment, she goes, I am. How are you? She was very sweet. And like, I knew that her and Corey Hart, he was like a BMX rider or a skateboarder or something she was married to. Her and him were they were having a fight. You knew they got divorced shortly after. But anyway, it was nice. She was nice. I like Pink. Happy birthday, Pink. And then like, I heard her whole story, I think I saw the behind the music on Pink. And it's like, whoa, she was like a homeless street kid. And now look at her. And she's cool. Like, she's nice to people. That's a thing. All right, happy birthday, Pink. All right, now let's move into, let everybody get your judges' robes on. All right, climb up on top of that big bench. Get your gavels ready, because it's time for us to decide whether or not these people who died on this day are going to heaven or hell. This is where we take someone's life work, or at least as far as we know it, and we decide they in heaven or hell. First, 1991, dead on this day, actor Brad Davis. Brad Davis wasn't a big actor. He did a couple of movies. Most notably, what he is most famous for is he starred in Midnight Express. I don't know if you've ever seen Midnight Express. Oh, my God. I'll tell you. I saw that movie when I was probably 7 or 8 years old, Midnight Express. I've never tried to smuggle opium through Turkey. I have never, because I saw that movie. That's right. That's right. Some kids were forced to watch Scared Straight. I was forced to watch Midnight Express. And that's why I'm not an international drug trafficker today. I saw that movie. I'm telling you, the scene on the airplane, if you're familiar with Midnight Express, if you've never seen Midnight Express, it's about an American student who goes to Turkey and he tries to get some, I think it's hash, maybe opium. He falls in, he's a normal kid, but he falls into this thing where he needs money desperately, and all he's got to do is carry this, become a mule, traffic this stuff, and he gets caught in Turkey. And he's an American kid who has to spend like life in a Turkish prison. Oh my God. When he is on the airplane, and the music, that's the theme that runs through the movie the whole time, and it gets your heart beating. And he's on the airplane, and the plane is starting to taxi, and everybody's putting their stuff, and he's made it. He's actually going to get out of this country with all of this drugs, and he's going to get this money, and it's going to be great. And just then he looks out the window, and the Turkish army is surrounding the plane. Oh, Brad Davis. I don't know. I think he's in hell probably because he was an actor, and I don't know much more. But man, that was good. Midnight Express was good. 1997, Derek Taylor died. Derek Taylor, you might not know the name, but he was the most powerful publicist in music for a long, long period of time. How did he get this? Well, he was a friend of a Beatle. before a Beatle was a Beatle. And then the Beatle became a Beatle. And he was like, hey, I would like to do your publicity. And the Beatle was like, well, why not? We don't have anybody else. So he became the publicist for the Beatles. Now, you can imagine that was a lucrative gig in the 1960s. Because he was the publicist for the Beatles, he then became the publicist for the Rolling Stones and the Who and the Kinks and Pink Floyd. He was powerful. Powerful as hell. If you've ever seen any of those old Beatles documentaries, Derek Taylor is all over him. He's always the guy getting in between reporters and Beatles. He's always the guy saying, we're not asking those questions today. Derek Taylor is absolutely in hell. Derek Taylor was a rough character. He was not easy to deal with, and a lot of people say that his association to the Beatles went to his head. Derek Taylor, dead on this day in 1997. Dead on this day in 2003. We talked about her just a couple of weeks ago on her birthday. Nazi propagandist and world-class filmmaker, for being honest and objective, Leafy Riefenstein. Nope, sorry. Leni Riefenstahl. Leni Riefenstahl. She was a very talented actress. She was a big movie star in Nazi Germany in the 1930s. And she decided, as many people do, that as her age started to become a detriment to her getting these ingenue roles, she became a director. And she became a very, very good director in Germany. People don't realize that before the Nazis, like, Germany was kind of like a hotbed for culture. Like, it was, if the Nazi thing hadn't happened, like German cinema and German film and all that stuff, that was big. That could have been a thing. I don't know, the language barrier wouldn't have really made it. Whatever. My point is this. Leni Riefenstahl, she became a director. Hitler rose to power. Hitler liked her movies. She supposedly was like, I don't know what he was doing, and I didn't have a problem with Jews, but she was a good Nazi, and now, if there is a God, she is burning in hell. Leni Riefenstahl, a good Nazi, a good, talented Nazi filmmaker. Dead on this day in 2017, Don Williams. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. The dude did like one thing, and that's it, and pretty memorable. He's in heaven. Don Williams goes to heaven. All right, there you have it. That's going to do it for as far as the prerequisites for today's show. We've been through the erstwhile. We know the events that have shaped this day. We've been through the birthdays, and now we've gone through the mourns. We've gone through the deaths. We've decided the fate of a number of people. Brad Davis, hell. Derek Taylor, hell. Leni Riefenstahl, hell. Don Williams, heaven, because American Pie. All right, now's the point where we're going to move into the hot topics, trends, headlines, whatever it is that's happening in the world today. That's what the High Noon Report is all about. Excuse me, I gotta stretch a little bit here. Let me jump into the chat room for a minute. Let me just see what's happening in the chat room. Let me say hi to everybody. I'm gonna make sure we get everybody. Leslie C, how to do? Barney Styles, how to do? Leslie, I'm seeing all my people. Hiya, happy Friday to you, Jen Hernandez. Mama Beller, as always. The great Cameron Grant is here. Byron is here. Rainy Days. Leslie, the go-to. She's got her seat. April is here. I love all these people. My God, you people. Siobhan, by the way, Siobhan, if you're still here, I'm pronouncing that right. That's a cool ass Gaelic name. I love cool ass Gaelic names. Siobhan. That's Siobhan, right? Or how do you pronounce it? I don't know. You might be from Texas. You might pronounce it Sioban. I don't know. Beautiful name, though. I love that name. I love old Gaelic names. Let's see here. Barney, Leslie. Adam is here. Oh, Adam's got a sprained wrist. Can't do shit, he says. I know one thing you can't do. Barney. Oh, we've already said hi to Barney. Go kick rocks, Barney. Anybody else that I haven't said hello to? Nah, pretty much. That's a KB. My boy Kevin's here. Oh, hey, dude, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. See what Byron Granger. Byron Granger just corrected me. All right. See, this is what happened. I saw Don Williams, American musician, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's the American Pie guy. Who is he now? Donald Ray Williams was an American country music. Okay, so we put him in heaven based on the idea that we thought he was the American Pie guy, but he's not. Don Williams was an American country music singer. Man, Byron, thank you for saying that, because the whole time I'm going, wait, that's his name, right? That's who that is? What did he do? Did he do any big songs? Okay, is there anything bad about I'm scanning the actual Don Williams Wikipedia page to see if there's anything like controversial that we can just put him in hell. You know what? Incomplete. We gotta do an incomplete on that one. Good catch, Byron. All right, so who cares? Don Williams, he died on this day. We don't know. Purgatory. We thought he was the American Pie guy. The paperwork got started. He was on his way through heaven, and all of a sudden, Byron caught it. Good job. All right, the first big story that we're going to talk about today is what we've been talking about every day for, the better part of the last 3 months, and that is some weather-related phenomena. Hurricane Lee. Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday. So like 3 weeks ago, it was San Diego. San Diego's going to get hit by a hurricane, and that never happens. And then, like, nothing happened other than people at Burning Man got exposed to some really bad weather. That was it. And you know what? Honestly, good. More of that. That's fun. That's fun kind of weather disasters. Chris Rock and Diplo being ushered out in the back of a pickup truck. All right. So then we had Dallas. Remember Dallas for like a week? It's coming. It's going to crush Florida. Oh, DeSantis has an opportunity to be so presidential. You know, that whole thing. And nothing. Like, there was really nothing about Dallas. Now we got Lee. And here's the thing about Lee. They're ramping us up for Lee. They're telling us about how strong and powerful Lee is and how this is like the most powerful hurricane that they've seen in a while. In fact, in the last 12 hours, it has gone from 75 miles per hour to 140 miles per hour, making it a Category 5. Lee is a Category 5. That's what they're leading with. And it's heading towards America. Keyword being towards, because there's no way this thing's going to hit America. This thing is on like a path that is just going to take it up. Maybe Bermuda is going to have some issues, but so anyway, they're just ginning us up because it is a very big, very strong hurricane. Wait, let's see. Can we see it? Hold on. Let's see if we can see it. You know, I like to use the Google Maps. Okay. So let's see. And yes, of course, I could just go and pull up some hurricane path map. I don't like to do that. I like to see what these things really look like. Google Maps does a good job of that. All right. So what is this? I guess is this Lee? Yeah, here it is. Look at this big bitch. All right. Yeah, it's not this. All right. So this is the one. This is the Category 5. Okay. This is, it's interesting. You know where these things come from? They come from here. They come from like West Africa. All of the hurricanes, they come off the dry Sierra, the Sahara. This is the Sahara. Like the really hot winds come off of there and it mixes with the water. And that's how you get these hurricanes. They all start from here. Here's another one. And they come across and then this little dude. So here's what this dude's going to do, according to all the models that I see. It's going to go this way. Hold on. I'm not sharing it yet. I'm sorry. There it is. All right. There we go. Here. Boom. Kagunkunk. Okay. Here we go. So here we go. This is Lee right here. He's a big one. He's well formed. I don't really see an eye, but he's right here. He's around Puerto Rico. He's big. Yeah, he's big. So here's what he's going to do, though. He's going to go like this. And then like up the, he's not going to hit. Here, I'll show you some computer models. Why am I doing this, right? Why not just show you? Boom, 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 boom. Why are you spending so much time on it if it's not going to hit? I'm like, I don't know, because I like this stuff. And I've got 2 hours to kill. All right, let's see. Show me the computer models. Computer models. There it is. All right, here. Yep. Boop. So these are like all the models at once. This thing ain't going to hit America. This thing's just going to go out to sea. Look at it. Right. Okay, so here it is. It's going to come this way, and then it's going to break north. and it's going to break up because this is going to be cooler water. It's not going to be, that's hot water is what makes hurricanes. The further it goes into Canada in September, this water is going to cool it down significantly. So I don't know. There you go. Anyway, why are they ginning us up? Because they like to gin us up, because they like to make us scared. They're not really telling us that. Here's what they're saying. The rip currents are going to be terrible along the eastern sea. Oh, it's going to be wavy. Is that what this is all about? Is this why you're opening every newscast for the first 5 minutes talking about how it's going to be wavy in Norfolk over the weekend? Georgia grand jury has released some new information concerning the list of indictments that they brought against all of the Trump people. Apparently, they wanted Lindsey Graham, too. They wanted to indict Lindsey Graham. They had three other senators, David Perdue, Lindsey Graham, and remember Kelly Loeffler, who kind of looked like an Ann Coulter clone. She was like, oh, my God. It's like, yeah, they got two of them, too, and one of them's got a Senate's job. So anyway, we don't do politics on this show, but there you go. They were going to go after Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham's the one, because David Perdue's not in office anymore, neither is Loeffler, but Graham is. Oh, and by the way, no, we'll get this in the next story. Yeah, okay. So by the way, COVID's back. COVID's back in a big way. We've been talking about this now for a couple of weeks. Met my kid's game yesterday up there in Prosper, Texas. Bang, bang, dang, 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 lang, lang, lang. Trump country. I got my guns. That whole thing. Prosper. Half the people in the stadium were wearing masks. Not me, but half the people were wearing masks. They're all wearing masks now. Talking about this, they went up to Lindsey Graham in the halls of the Senate today in Washington. Old CNN's Manu Raju walks up to Lindsey Graham, throws his microphone in Lindsey Graham's face. Lindsey Graham's wearing a mask. Manu Raju's wearing a mask. They're all wearing masks again on TV. COVID's back. Let's see here. Ukraine is saying that Elon Musk is evil. You remember this whole thing? Okay, so basically in the early days of the war, when, before the anti-American agenda machine got whipped up and we were all supposed to be like, poor Putin. Yeah, okay. Before that got all whipped up, everybody was like, man, in the early days when all we knew were the actual facts that like Russia had invaded another country, in those early days that when Russia had invaded another sovereign nation, everyone in the world was pretty much like, you can't do that. But then, the machine gets whipped up and people start tweeting and people read things and they go, no, I can say that instead because now I'm still on this team. Elon Musk in the early days donated the Starlink system to help Ukraine with their battle against the evil oppressors. And he took all kinds of, look at Elon. Oh, isn't that wonderful? This is why we need geniuses. Well, apparently, as the war went on, Elon decided that he was going to play a role. And he started, screwing with the Starlink system. I don't know enough about it. Here's all I know, and this is the story. You can look it up on your own. The Ukraine government is saying that Elon Musk is evil. They are accusing Elon Musk of shutting down the Starlink, which was at the time guiding a fleet of drones against a bunch of Russian battleships. These battleships were launching missiles into Ukrainian towns. These drones were sent to take out the battleships. And Musk apparently, according to the Ukraine, who is now describing him as evil, he's being accused of dropping the Starlink, causing all of the drones to crash into the water and wash up in the seats, and thousands of people killed in the bombings that occurred. Because I don't know, it's complicated. Like I said, you want to hear some takes either from the right or the left? Go Google it. I'm just telling you why people are talking about it. I gave you the facts as they're being reported. Now again, nuance. Is it a fact that Musk is evil? No, it's an accusation being made by the Ukrainian government based on what they are saying. So those are the facts that we have. We have the facts of what they are saying. We don't know if it's true or not. Anyway, that is the thing that bothers me about billionaires. This is the shit that scares me. Elon Musk makes a decision in the best interest of the globe, which is what apparently is the defense that's being put out there. That no single person should have that much power because they invented an electric car. I'm sorry. It's troubling. And if it's not troubling to you, then you're not thoughtful. You're not thinking it through. You're not looking at what this could lead to, or you're cool with it. That's also a completely acceptable way to look at it. If you're cool with it, you're cool with it. Just stop making excuses. Just stop acting like it's not real. I mean, the January 6th thing kills me. I know what I saw, right? I know what I saw. I know what that was. A bunch of yahoos going crazy, lighting a building on fire. You can't do that. Why they do it in the bad neighborhoods? Yeah. But I don't go to a Burger King in a bad neighborhood. I might want to take my kid to the halls of justice someday. So everybody knows that was wrong. What they saw there was wrong. It wasn't right. Not wrong as in you need to be in prison for 30, but wrong as in, yeah, this isn't the preferred way to go about this. Everyone can admit that. And yet there's all of these excuses. There's all of these justifications that people are like, okay, that sounds better than me feeling bad about it. So I'm going to say what this person says for me to say. And now we've got all these crazy, I don't know. The world is screwed up. All right, let's move on. Presidential libraries. Oh, God, I don't want to do this story. We're moving on. All right. Apparently all the presidential libraries got together and said, Trump shouldn't be president again. And by that, I mean all of them. I mean, like, look it up again. I'm just telling you, if you're out today and somebody says, hey, did you hear about what the presidential libraries did? Now you know. The presidential libraries all got together. They signed one statement saying that President Trump should not be president again. Leah Remini is trending. Is that how you say her name? Remini? That's a fun name. Sounds like a motorcycle. Leah Remini is trending because, of course, she has to put her 2 cents in the whole Danny Masterson Scientology takedown that occurred yesterday in the LA court. I think I like Leah Remini. I don't know, though. I think she might be a little much. Can we just talk about her and how we know her? Like that character on King of Queens, she was very sexy, but she was also scary. She was mean. She was like a mean, tough girl. She was mean to him on King of Queens. And I think we all liked that. I think we all enjoyed that. And then we heard her, like we know her from like Howard Stern or The Tonight Show, whatever. And she always came off really cool. I just think she might be a little bit much. Like first thing in the morning, having coffee and you sit down with Leah Remini, it might be a little bit much. So I don't know if I like her. I don't know if I'm into her or not. I like her Scientology takedown. Oh, love that. But you know, it's complicated because she also joined Scientology. So it's like, yeah, okay, you get credit for wisening up, but you're never going to be able to get rid of the scarlet letter that you put on at 20 when you decided to join this band of kooks. You at that age were not, I don't know, normal enough to go, hey, this is a cult. This is a weird cult. But, you know, people did it and they paid tens of thousands of dollars on the off chance that they might be in a 10,000 seat arena that Tom Cruise is in. That's why they do it. So anyway, Leah Remini is celebrating the Danny Masterson trial. Danny Masterson yesterday was sentenced to like 30 years or something like that for the rape of 2 girls 20 years ago. He did it. He's a scumbag. He's a total scumbag. Look at Hyde was a scumbag. I don't know. He's a great actor. He was probably just playing his scumbag self. So he rapes these 2 girls 20 years ago. And they went to Scientology, and it took 23 years because they didn't go to the police. And that's a real problem. Now, yesterday, I'm glad this story is trending again because I saw a couple of snowflakes in the chat room yesterday going a little bit nuts, going a little bit crazy, saying that I'm blaming the victim. Yeah, I am blaming the victims. Leslie and Adam accused me of victim blaming. Yes, I am blaming the victims of rape. I'm blaming Danny Masterson's victims for this taking 21 years. Yeah, I am not blaming them for the rape. But see, this is where the snowflakes who like to call people out for shit like this is where they get in the weeds because they don't do the subtleties. I am not saying that they are responsible for being raped. Danny Masterson is a monster. I am angry that it took 22 years and Danny Masterson got to live like a Hollywood celebrity, possibly just, banging and drugging his way through how many other people, because these two women were raped, had a traumatic event occur to them, and they didn't go to the police. They went to Scientology. Yes, I blame them for that. I blame them for this case taking 20 years because they didn't go to the police. Yes, I blame them for that. Whatever, I guess I'm a bad guy. Does that mean they deserve to be raped? No. But when you say I am victim blaming, what you are leaving out, well, what you're assuming and making people think is that I'm going, it's their fault for being raped. What were they wearing? Why were they there in the first? No, I ain't fucking saying that, you disingenuous pricks. You snowflake cowboys who just want to get up on your pedestal and be morally superior to other people. You didn't listen to what I said, and you're wrong. If you think for 1 minute that I'm the type of person that would blame the victim of rape for being a victim of rape, you don't know me. I'm blaming them because it took 20 years for this guy to be brought to justice. 20 years because they didn't go to the police. They went to Scientology. Yes, that is their fault. Trauma, all of it that happened to them, terrible. They're not to blame for that. They went out with a guy and, hey, he was a TV star. And it seemed like it was probably going to be a fun night. They didn't ask to be drugged. They didn't want to wake up with, I don't know, whatever. Some of them described some injuries and all that kind of stuff. They didn't want to wake up like that. That is not, I'm not blaming them for that. I am blaming them that it's 2023 and he's finally going to jail. Yes, that is what I am blaming the victims of the rape for. I am not blaming the victims for being raped. And there is a huge distinction there. And you're incredibly disingenuous when you say you're victim blaming. Moving on. Those are the endorphins in my head. I'm telling you, man, this is why I have loved Leslie and Adam for 20 years. They get me. They know how to get me off. I mean, they suck. I mean, those statements suck. You're victim blaming. Okay. No. All right, moving on. Obesity. Obesity is trending today. Obesity is a big deal. Obesity, a lot of people are obese. I went to the doctor about 5 years ago. Scared the shit out of me. I went to the doctor. I got my full checkup and all that stuff. Everything was good. Everything was fine. I'm fine. But I went to the doctor and they're like, you gained another 5 pounds and you're going to be technically obese. What? What? I thought obese was like 350 pounds. I'm 6 foot tall, 235. What do you mean? Or 6 foot tall, what was I, 233 or something? I think it was 235. I would be obese. Whatever it was. Are you kidding me? Scared the hell out of me. Because I'm a fat guy, but I make a distinction between being a fat guy and being obese. Obese is like, the people in Walmart who have to use motorized assistants. That's obese. I'm not there. They need to fix that scale. There is no way. Anyway, because of that scale, 61% of Americans are technically obese. Oh my God. Obesity is killing America. Heart disease deaths related to weight have tripled since 1999. Again, I know why this is, because there's a lot of poor people in this country and nutritious food is expensive. And I don't know how familiar you are with places like, Boston, New York, Detroit, Chicago, inner city, Los Angeles. But food deserts are a very real thing. There are places where the only spot to get anything to eat, anything packaged, isn't a bodega, which is a little corner store, and everything there is ridiculous. Why? Because the Krogers and the Albertsons and all, they don't go into these neighborhoods. Whole other bunch of issues as to why that is we can talk about. But the fact of the matter is that when all you eat is bad, cheap food that you can get at the Dollar Tree ain't got no good food. There's no nutrition there. There's no meat. There's no fresh vegetables. Sometimes those 98-cent stores have vegetables and stuff, but it's always like skanky looking vegetables and fruits. It's always like, I don't know. The number of people with obesity is rising in every country across the world. The study is the first to demonstrate that this increasing burden of obesity is translating into rising heart disease deaths. Adult obesity has remained an epidemic over the last 2 decades. According to the CDC, 10% jump from the last decade. All right, 61%. That's such a crazy number. The number used to be 43.6% in the 1970s. Well, maybe the counting is just better now. Maybe it's just... Anyway, there you have it. Obesity is it's apparently, as of today, it's a big problem in America. Hasn't been a big problem in America for the past 40 years, but hey, today we're recognizing it, and obesity in America is trending. You guys. Did you hear about Jimmy Fallon? Oh my God. Two things I am incredible at. I am not very good at many things. There are 2 things that I am very good at. The first, miniature golf. I am great at miniature golf. If there was a pro league for miniature golf, well, not now, I'm a little bit old. But years ago, I'd have been one of those kids. I'd have gotten a mini golf scholarship if it was a thing. But it's not. So is life. The other thing that I am really good at is judging people's character almost instantly. I'm able to do it. I'm able to size people up. I'm able to use, I don't know, maybe just perceptive. I think it has a lot to do with being an only child. I think it has a lot to do with being the stranger in every room that I've ever walked into as a child, not having, a little brother or a sister or another, and somebody always being sort of the one that's got to be wary of who is. I honestly think, I've thought about why it is, because I truly believe I'm a fantastic judge of character. I can spend 5 minutes with somebody and I can decide good or bad. That's why we play the heaven or hell game, because I like to sit in judgment of people. You guys, I've been saying for 30 years that Jimmy Fallon is a prick. Never met him, don't know him. I'm just looking at him and I'm going, that dude is a prick. You guys, Jimmy Fallon is so sweet. You mean phony? He's totally phony. You can't tell that that's practiced. You can't tell that that's charming. I'm just charming Jimmy Fallon and everybody likes me. I've always said, you know who Jimmy Fallon is? Jimmy Fallon is that harmless kid in high school. You were on the football team. You were down at state. You had to go down to play in state for like the weekend. And Jimmy Fallon is that dude that sits at the chicks' lunch table, right? You know that one dude who sits and he's really into his hair. Like, his hair is always good. And if it's the 80s, he's got the popped collar, but he's sitting at the table with all your girlfriends. And then when you say to your girlfriend, you're like, what's up with that dude? What is that? The dude's like a little, whatever, in terms of the time you use the F word. That dude's a little, whatever. And they'd be like, oh no, that's Jimmy. Jimmy's just so sweet. Jimmy is the sweetest guy. And he's so funny. And then you go away to state and Jimmy has sex with your girlfriend. Yep. That's Jimmy Fallon. That's Jimmy Fallon. And I pegged him as that from the first time that I saw him. Now, he's also funny. You can be many things. There are a lot of moving parts that make up the complicated individual. But I judge Jimmy Fallon to be a dick. I do. He just seems like a dick. And guess what? Turns out he is, because Jimmy Fallon is going through something that Ellen went through a couple of years ago. That's right. A big major American journalistic entity decided to put the vice scripts to old Jimmy Fallon, and they've gone inside the Tonight Show. Rolling Stone has rolled out a big expose about inside behind the scenes at the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. And it has gotten to the point where Jimmy Fallon this morning had to do an all hands apology to everybody who works for the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was doing this. So what Rolling Stone did was they just went and interviewed everybody. So here's why Rolling Stone went, maybe we should interview some people who used to work on The Tonight Show. So I have a rule in radio. I always applied this to radio, whether or not hosts were a-holes or not. Because there is a way to tell if the radio host you listen to is a complete jerk off the air. And you know how you tell? In all the years that you've been listening, how many producers did they have? If they've got a new producer every year, that means that this host is such an insufferable prick behind the scenes that nobody can work with him, that nobody can deal with his crudeness, his meanness, his incompetence, whatever it is. I've seen that. A great example, and this is why I always say, no, Howard Stern's a cool dude. Gary, Howard Stern has been the biggest radio producer, and he has had the same producer for 25 years. He's had the same staff for 25 years. You know what that means? It means he takes care of them. It means that he works hard for them, that he indemnifies them when people come after him, whether it be management or whatever. So that's something I always look at. I look at a radio show and I go, how many producers do they have? Jimmy Fallon has had 9 showrunners in 9 years. This is the thing that made Rolling Stone go, we need to talk to some of these people. A showrunner is the boss of the show. It's the person that runs the show on a day in and day out basis. They are the boss. They are essentially the executive producer. Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show has had 9 of these in 9 years, which tells anybody who understands the business that, oh, Jimmy's a dick. Oh, Jimmy can't be reasoned with. Every year he fires a showrunner. So Rolling Stone, they went and they interviewed shit tons of people who used to work on the Tonight Show, and there were some details. You can go get it. You can read the whole article, but here I'll read you some of the tidbits. Chaos, comedy, and crying rooms inside Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show. He's getting the Ellen treatment. And by the way, I never bought into Ellen as being sweet either. I always thought there was something weird about her. There was something going on. It was a particularly tense day on the set of The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. The host, known for his warm and congenial presence on screen, was acting especially dismissive and irritable during production meetings. A former longtime employee has told Rolling Stone. Then he stumbled through rehearsal in front of a studio audience who typically sit in on rehearsals for the late night show. Employees who spoke to Rolling Stone about their experiences working on The Tonight Show say it's common knowledge behind the scenes that there are good Jimmy days where Fallon's wit and charm and creativity are on full display, and bad Jimmy days. This was a bad Jimmy day, according to the employee. Now, let me just say something here. Of course, it's about the balance between the bad Jimmy days and the good Jimmy days. If they balance equally, then it's just like, okay. But if there are far more bad Jimmy days than there are good Jimmy days, then yeah, there's a problem. And as it turns out, this article reveals there's way more bad Jimmy days than there are good ones. They say Fallon seemed to be confused during rehearsal. Okay, we don't need to see that. Jimmy Fallon apologizes. Here's another story. Jimmy Fallon, this will be the story we'll go with. I don't need to go with the details. You can read Rolling Stone. You can read the whole takedown article. But again, exactly the same thing that happened to Ellen a couple of years ago seems to be happening to Jimmy Fallon. And I just, look, I'm sorry. I've just always known that he was a sketchy dude. I've just always known that he is not what he presents. Oh, Jimmy Fallon seems so cute. Like we could just walk up to him on the street and rub his hair and go, Jimmy, you're such, no, he'd probably kick you in the nuts. Well, he should. Nobody should be subject to that. But I'm just saying that's the image that he has, that he's... Jimmy Fallon has apologized to the entire Tonight Show staff after Rolling Stone report. He says, sorry if I embarrassed you and your family and or any of your friends. I feel so bad I can't even tell you, Fallon reportedly told his employees on an all-hand Zoom. Okay. All right, so come on, you let me go. Following an investigation. Okay, never mind. There you go. That's it. Anyway, Jimmy Fallon's getting taken down. You can find more details anywhere else. I'm just telling you what's happening. That's why people are talking about Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon got taken down by Rolling Stone, and people are saying he's a prick. And I'm telling you, I called it. I know he's a prick. He's always been. I can see him. Yes, I will tell you. Every single one of you in the chat room, you passed my litmus test. So there you go. You're fine. You're all fine. You're all fine. If you weren't, we wouldn't be able to have this and share this time together every day. Some of you have problems, don't get me wrong, but oh God, look at who you're talking to, right? Problems don't I have? We all have problems. But you're all fine. You're all fine. You're not like Jimmy Fallon. Because I know you're wondering, you're like, Pugs. Pugs can size people up quickly. I wonder if you could do that for us in the chat room. I can, and I have, and you're all fine. Football. What is that? Which NFL theme is that? I don't even know. Is that Monday Night Football? I don't know. Football's back. Football's back. Football's back. I watched it last night. I watched the Detroit Lions take on the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Good game, fun game. Any thoughts? Lions won. Again, my partner Kelly would have taken the Lions because a lion can eat an Indian chief. An Indian chief is just a guy. What's he got, a spear? He's not going to take it on a lion. He's not going to, trust me, the lion might get speared. The lion might get shot with a gun even. But just one of those old-timey guns, one dude, he ain't going to take down a lion. Detroit Lions beat the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs last night. Was it 21-20? Is that what the final was? I don't remember. I don't know. It was something like that. It was good. It was a good game, though, man. It was a good game. Kansas City Chiefs, they got no receivers. They got that case of that Kadarius Toney. Boy, nice pickup. That was not good. Bunch of drop passes. Detroit's defense could be scary, man. I've been watching Detroit put this defense together now for the last 3 years. Started with the drafting of Hutchinson, and oh my God, they just keep adding killer pieces through the draft and free agency. That Detroit Lions defense, that Dan Campbell Detroit Lions 2023 defense is going to be something. 70 million Americans, 70 million Americans plan to bet on the NFL. That's what the story is going on. 70 million Americans will be betting on NFL games this weekend. And I keep saying this because, I got one foot in the Chicago area and one foot in Texas. And in Chicago, they have legalized gambling. Like almost every other, look, it's everywhere. It's why DraftKings runs national commercials, because they know that even though you can't use them on your phone in Texas, you can still, it'll come. So I'm driving up. I told you I had to go to my kid's game up in Prosper. It was like a 2-hour trip in terrible traffic yesterday. Rush hour traffic. And so I'm listening to my Chicago sports radio stations, and they're talking about the game, and I'm like, okay, good. They're going to break down the game tonight. I'm recording the game. I'll watch it when I get home after this game. It'll be cool. I'll listen to the breakdown. And they gave me a 25-minute breakdown of what the gamblers think. There is no more. When legalized sports gambling comes to your market, and it's coming to Texas, when you're able to pull out your phone and drop $5 on whether or not they're going to pick up this first down or not. Yeah. No, it's crazy the stuff you can do in places where it's legal. You can bet in game. They're going to pick up this first down. Oh my, it's incredible. It's incredible. But it's destroyed sports talk. It is everything. So I'm listening to these guys. They're breaking down the game, and it's all about, well, Kelsey ain't playing, so, I would have gone +6 on the under, but if we're talking about the over, they did that for 25 minutes. I'm like, which team do you think is just going to win? Which team is better? Are the Lions that? Well, that depends. Vegas is saying it has ruined the way I enjoy sports talk because I don't give a shit about gambling. I hate gambling. Unless I win. Then I'm fine with it. But, I hate gambling. It's ruined it. It has absolutely destroyed it. And it's coming here. It's coming here. And you already hear a little bit of it. Like Bob Sturm on the ticket. He's doing some gambling stuff. Now, why will it radically change your sports radio listening experience? Why? You go, well, that doesn't, if I listen to the Fan and, I like what I'm hearing and they're doing pretty well in the ratings, why would they change? Because every sports gambling app and every casino in Vegas is going to start to pump $10 million a year into that stupid sports radio station, making it one of the most lucrative radio stations in the entire market. And one of the prerequisites of that is that their hosts are going to have to start doing gaming segments. And man, I'm telling you, Chicago sports radio is nothing but gaming segments, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick. Speaking of things that make me sick, Jerry Jones, this idiot. Have you seen this? You guys got to see this. The Cowboys have unveiled a new interactive Jerry Jones thing. Hold on. Where is it? Wait a second. I'll find it. COVID. We did this. Leah Remini. We talked about the Jimmy Fallon football. There we go. Okay. Check this shit out. This is weird. So this is at AT&T Stadium. This is a new. The Cowboys have. Just watch this. It's like an interactive Jerry Jones. So basically, you can go to AT&T Stadium, sit in a room, and Jerry Jones is sitting in a chair on a stage, and you can ask him questions. Except it's not Jerry Jones. It's like a hologram, and all the answers are what? Like AI. I don't know what AI. Yeah, I don't know enough about this AI stuff. All right, so here you go. Let's watch this. This is what the experience is like. Jerry Jones, such a weird guy. I got some questions for Jerry Jones. I'd love to see if the AI can answer them.
Within a matter of weeks, I'd bought the Dallas Cowboys.
Why did you choose AT&T to be your naming rights partner?
The reason AT&T Stadium is AT&T Stadium
What's going
is
to do
because to me, AT&T was like saying America. And I wanted our Dallas Cowboys, America's team, to be associated with Alexander Graham Bell and AT&T.
Okay, very good. All right, so that's very weird. I have questions. I would like to ask Jerry. Hey, Jerry, answer this one. Why did you have a daughter who you never paid any attention to for 18 years, and she went to SMU, which is literally like 2 blocks away from where you live? Can you answer that? Yeah, I don't think the AI is going to answer that. Hey, Jerry, I have a question about the White House from the 90s. Yeah, see, there's questions, Jerry. AT&T, that's the example they give us. Yes, if you want to go and ask a hologram of Jerry Jones why he signed the stadium rights to AT&T, he'll be glad to answer that. I mean, come on. Who's going to go to this? This is stupid. It's weird, too. But it's very Jerry Jones. Anything that has to do with him, anything that puts the focus on him. All right, what else do we have here happening today? We're running through the show today, man. We are running through. Is that going to be it? No, well, it's not it. I mean, we're not done, but I mean, geez, look at this. We've only done like an hour and 10 minutes. All right, let's talk a little bit about Zach Bryan. Zach Bryan, country music superstar. He's making the news. Zach Bryan got himself arrested there in Oklahoma. Here's the story. Zach Bryan arrested in Oklahoma. Hold on. Let's see here. Oh, for crying out loud. Can I just tell you that the absolute worst news source is Yahoo News? Their layout is absurd. Country star Zach Bryan was arrested on charges of obstructing an investigation in Oklahoma on Thursday. This according to multiple news reports. He was released on bond later in the day. Commenting on the incident after his release, Bryan owned up to being out of line with police. He goes, well, here, you know what? I'm going to let you show it. So we'll watch this. So Zach Bryan made himself a little video where he's kind of explaining to his fans what happened and why he got arrested and why he was disrespectful to the police and, you know, all of that stuff. So let's watch it. It's 5 minutes. Maybe we won't watch the whole thing, but it's kind of interesting. And, you know, I like to tell you I'm a good judge of people. So this is an opportunity for me in less than 5 minutes to completely size this guy up and try and decide whether or not he's good or bad. Here we go. Zach Bryan, he's talking about his arrest yesterday in Oklahoma.
Everybody, me and Jack are halfway to New York. He is slumped out, farting everywhere. I got 7 Red Bulls in me, and I just wanted to be completely transparent with everyone who listens to my music about what happened yesterday with me getting arrested and everything, because I don't want the internet to do what the internet does and, like, I don't know, make stuff up. So I want to start by saying I have to deal with the legalities of it. I did go to jail. I didn't play favorites, and I was an idiot today, and my decisions did not reflect who I was as a person, and I just want to make that clear, and I should have been smarter about it. But I just want to tell you guys the whole timeline, the whole story, so there's no confusion. Around 3 days ago, I was driving through this small town in Oklahoma, and this is the beginning of all of it. And I drive by this cop. I was going like 4 or 5 over. He pulls me over. He comes to my window. First thing he asks for is license, registration, and my address. And I told him, I said, hey man, I don't really feel comfortable giving you my address. I'm a musician and I'm not comfortable with it. So he says, if you don't give me your address, I'm gonna have to take you to jail. And I'm like, man, I'm not gonna give you my address. So he tells me to step out of the vehicle. He puts handcuffs on me, and I'm like, man, what the hell is going on? Why are you doing this? He's like, why are you not giving me your address? So we talked about it. I explained to him why. I ended up giving him my address. I ended up like abiding by what he was saying. We kept talking. He finally took my handcuffs off. He gave me a warning because I wasn't going too fast or anything. And then he let me go because I just started respecting him and being cordial. But I think it just frustrated me a lot because I didn't know if I had a right to refuse giving him my address or not, but I did, and who knows. But that happened. Fast forward to today. I wake up and I tell my security guard, hey man, I'm going to drive to Boston today. So, to see the Birds play. So we're driving to Boston. We get like 40 minutes away from my house. We're going through Veneta. He's behind me, and I see him getting pulled over. So I'm like, oh man. So I go around the block, and I come and I pull back up next to him. And I'm just sitting there. I didn't get out of the vehicle or anything. I'm just sitting there waiting on him. 10 to 15 minutes goes by, and I get out of the car. I'm like, man, why is this? What is taking so long? And I was gonna smoke a cigarette. The cop comes up to me, and he's like, sir, get back in your vehicle. And I'm like, I'm not the one getting pulled over. Please, like, what do you? He's like, get back in your vehicle, or I'm gonna have to take you to jail. And like a dumbass, I said, take me to fucking jail? What do you mean? And he was like, take you to jail. And I was like, damn. So I get too lippy with him. He brings me over to his car. And I just didn't help my situation at all. I felt like a child. It was ridiculous. It was immature. And I just pray everyone knows that I don't think I'm above the law. I was just being disrespectful, and I shouldn't have been. And it was my mistake. So he gets me in these cuffs, man, and they're tight. And he puts me in his front seat. And we're just all going back and forth. I'm like, man, these cuffs hurt. He's like, they're not supposed to be comfortable. He was just being a cop, you know. And so I'm just getting more angry and angry, which is like the worst thing you could possibly do. So 15 minutes goes by. They finally let me out of the vehicle, and I'm like just mouthing off like an idiot, like an actual child. I'm like, man, someone's got to get a hold of you guys. This is like, why are you using your authority like this? This is so wrong. When in reality, they were just doing their jobs. I was upset. And so he looks at me, he says, hey man, I'm going to tell you this, and if you, like, don't interrupt me. And I was like, well, after you're done, I'm going to say my piece. He's like, okay. He started talking. I interrupted him naturally because I was just angry. So he said, I'm going to take you to jail. And he took me to jail. And I was in jail for a few hours. When I got there, it kind of like lightened up because I just kind of cooled off a little bit. I was talking to the people booking me. Everyone was super kind. I was in my jail cell for a while. And the cop and me eventually shook hands. I ended up apologizing online because I realized that my actions didn't reflect who I was as a person. And that was kind of the night ended okay. I have to deal with the legalities of it when I go back home. The people of Veneta were super kind. I just want to tell the story and get it out there before someone blew it out of proportion. I was just an idiot, and I'll take the fall for it. I'm a grown man, and I shouldn't have behaved like that, and it won't happen again. I love you guys. Thanks for defending me online and stuff. I don't really need it. I just shouldn't have did what I did. And the world moves on. Tomorrow's gonna come anyway. And Jack's poop, man. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.
All right, so that is Zach Bryan, country singing superstar. Putting this down a little bit. Hold on. There we go. Was arrested in Oklahoma. Now he just told the story. Now he just kind of walked us through it step by step of all. He had 2 encounters with police in a 24-hour period. He's a country singer, but those are some hip hop totals, right? I mean, a country boy in Oklahoma, 2 encounters with local constables in 24 hours. All right, so here's what I would take from it. So it just sounds like, look, we've all been pulled over, we've all been irritated, we've all, I think our best intentions are almost always a yes sir, no sir. At least I would hope that's how it is. But sometimes you're just a little bit like fine, whatever, and it sounds like he was that. It sounds like he was angry, and he's a very famous country music singer who isn't used to people, restraining him or telling him no. So, there's a whole lot going on there. Now, I just watched him for 5 minutes. I watched him explain the whole thing. I watched him lay it out. And so I'm ready to, I don't know anything about this dude. I'm not a country music guy. I don't know who Zach Bryan is. All I've seen is the story that he was arrested. I know that he's very famous and very big right now. So I know that he got arrested. And then we just watched that. So I'm ready to cast my judgment on Zach Bryan. He seems awesome. He seems awesome. He seems like a good dude, man. See, when you're in these situations, he knows that he did the wrong thing. And knowing the difference between right and wrong is the most important thing that anyone as they go through life. If you don't know the difference between right and wrong, you're in a lot of trouble. There's just going to be nothing but problems for you. But he knows the difference between right and wrong. And he knows that what he did was wrong. And it was probably avoidable if you had just not been such an egomaniac asshole to the cop. Because that's what it is. It's ego. It's our ego that makes us lip off to the cop because we resent in that moment that they have all the power, and they do. So that's why you have to quell your ego, and you just have to go, okay, for the next 20 minutes that we're sitting here on the side of the road, he has all the power and I got to shut up. He copped to everything. He copped to absolutely everything. He said it was his fault. He did it. He explained it. I mean, he's a good dude. That seems like a good dude. And I will tell you this. That struck me as incredibly sincere and genuine. It didn't see, now we sometimes see these apologies that we know are written by PR people, or we know that they're, not the way the person really feels, but because they're a public figure, they've got to go out in front of the cameras and they got to say something. That dude sounded sincere. That sounded sincere. He seemed embarrassed. He seemed like, I shouldn't have done this. This is not. Anyway, very good. Very good on old Zach Bryan. Now I got to listen to his music. Or do I? I don't know. Do I have to listen to his music? Isn't he good? I don't know anything about him. Adam, with a good point, says he sounded way more sincere than Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, because I think Zach Bryan's just a regular guy. I think he's just a dude. And he got lippy with a cop because he was pissed off. Who knows? Maybe his girlfriend was pissing him off. Maybe they were late somewhere. Maybe, who knows, right? I mean, we all get put in a mood, and then we run into strangers in public, and whether we're a dick to them or whatever, sometimes has a lot to do with what we've just gone through in the previous couple hours. So he's just having a bad day, and these cops like, yeah, oh, you're going to take me to jail? Okay, great. And then if you get a cop who's also having a bad day, because again, cops are people too, they're not robots. Then you get a cop who's having a bad day, and now suddenly it's like, yeah, normally I would have more patience for you on this, but you're going to jail. It's that. That's what happens. And when the dust settles 24 hours later, nobody got shot. Nobody, there was no real crime committed. He's not losing his record deal or anything like that. So the dust settles 24 hours later. He makes a video and he's like, man, I was an a-hole. I'm sorry. I apologize. Do you know how many times? First of all, you got to be able to apologize. You got to be willing to apologize. Because if you're not willing, do you remember a couple of years ago? Wasn't that a thing with Republicans? Never apologize because we're never wrong. How fucking nuts is that? To believe that you're never wrong and that you should know. Oh, there goes Obama on his apology tour. Yeah, apologies are good, man. It's how you negotiate. Apologies are how you get back to even so that you can start fresh and kind of, try and get things done. This whole idea, never apologize. So here's what I loved about that. He took complete responsibility for everything. And we are in a time when that is not often the case. We are at a time now where, the doubling down. He very well could have gone out and gone, that cop, he was pushing me around and I'm just, you all love me. He didn't. He was sincere and he was contrite. All right, so there you go. That's the Zach Bryan story. He just said, you know what? I was an asshole for about 10 minutes. And maybe the cop was an asshole too. But he didn't say that. Because you see, to make that, to do that equation when people make I was an asshole, but he was also an asshole. Again, that's ego. That's your ego demanding that you're not the sole person responsible. He didn't do that. He just went, yeah, no, I was a jerk, man. I behaved badly. He took full responsibility, and that should be applauded. And now we can all move on. Who fucking cares? He got pulled over by a cop. He got lippy. He's not it's not like a major felon or anything like that. He apologized. He realized he did something wrong. All right. So I like Zach Bryan. Don't know who he is. Maybe going to have to listen to some music, but I do like the guy, at least from that 5-minute video that I saw. Here's another guy who is a singer-songwriter who I like with all my heart, because this is like, there ain't nobody 70 years. What, doing this 70 years? No, he's been doing it 50 years. He's been doing this 50 years. Been doing it 50 years. You're never going to find anybody that says anything bad about him. Nobody has ever said anything bad about Bruce Springsteen other than, I hate Bruce Springsteen's music. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. You're judging him on the art. I'm talking about the man. I'm talking about the guy. Nobody talks shit on Bruce. He's like the coolest, most laid back, nicest. Here's how you can tell. Remember I was telling you about how Jimmy Fallon has had 9 showrunners in 9 years. And that's a really nice clue as to what kind of an a-hole he is off camera. 9 people he's gone through in 9 years. No one can last more than a year with him, okay? So I always say, look at Howard Stern. Howard Stern's had the same producer for 30, 40 years. That means that Howard Stern is defending his people behind the scenes and that there is a real relationship there. It's not, just, yeah, I'm going to fire you if my ratings go down. It's not that. Bruce Springsteen has had the same 50 people around him for 50 years, and he has been the superstar. Do you honestly think that, there's a lot of people in the E Street Band who are immensely talented musicians who very easily could have, after having initial success in the 70s with Born to Run and stuff, gone and done solo stuff, had their own careers. They didn't. They stayed with him. Why? Because he's cool. Because he takes care of everybody. Because Bruce Springsteen doesn't take 99.9% of every dime that's made. He actually spreads the wealth. He's created this whole thing. These people, they will die for him. He's a good dude. And unfortunately, he's sick, and we feel very bad about it. Bruce Springsteen has canceled the September dates for his big old Bruce Springsteen tour that's going on now. The man has, and it was first released as Bruce is not feeling well. He is because I got Bruce Google alerts and all that kind of stuff, so I'm alerted to this stuff. Bruce is not feeling well. The first the first week of the tour will be suspended. Then like a day later, it was because everyone went, he's got COVID. Did he get the vax? Bruce is gonna die because he got vax or whatever. That stuff started going around. So they made a bigger announcement. They're like, look, stop it. Here's what's going on. Bruce has, apparently he was rushed to the hospital. He has bleeding ulcers, and apparently they require surgery, and it's kind of a serious thing when you get to be that age. He's a man, 70, 71, something like that. So these kinds of, you get internal bleeding and stuff. So he's going to be laid up for a while. But here's my problem. Who is causing Bruce these ulcers? I don't understand. One of the nicest men, one of the coolest, most chill men. Maybe that's it, because he knows how to swallow his ego and he knows how to swallow all of that. And he's been swallowing all of our blue collar pain for the past 50 years, and they've given him bleeding ulcers. Okay, that's it. So Bruce's concert is indefinitely suspended. We'll see if they come back. I don't know. It's not like I'm going to go see Bruce anytime soon. Those concert tickets are expensive. Besides, I've seen Bruce 10 times. And I say 10 times because that's a round number. I may have seen him 12. I may have seen him 8. I don't know. But I've seen, let's just say about 10 times. Always great. Always great. Hey, is Kevin Barber in the chat room? Kevin Barber got me into the cult of Springsteen. Is Kevin Barber still in the chat? KB Art. KB and I drove to Indianapolis to see Bruce Springsteen at the Indianapolis Hoosier Dome back in that was the Born in the USA tour. And here's the thing. Neither of us were Bruce Springsteen fans. It's just that his mom had tickets. She's like, hey, my mom's got really good tickets to see Bruce Springsteen. Do you want them? And we're like, they're like, it's in Indianapolis. And I think we went, yeah, road trip. So we went. And that's when it all started for me. Yeah, there's KB. Yeah, that was fun. All right. So Bruce is ailing. So keep a good thought for old Springsteen. Guys, that's it as far as stuff that I have prepared for today. Let's dare we go look at Google Trends, see if there's anything big happening. Dare we? Let's see. By the way, weather-wise, kids, oh my God, last night was so brutal. Last night at my kids' football game. I don't know if you're familiar with the Prosper area, but it's very flat. It's very flat. It's very exposed to a 5 p.m., 6 p.m. sun just blazing down on you. My ears, can you see my ears? My ears got sunburned. My ears got sunburned really bad. I hate that. Nothing worse than having sunburned ears. Oh, it was so brutal, man. It was so brutal at the game. I had to go sit in my car at halftime because air conditioning, because it was 106 degrees the whole time they're playing, 106 degrees. And let me tell you, my kids' team scored 56 points. You know how exhausting that is in 106 degree temperatures? All right, let's see. We'll go with the updated weather because you know how I like that. What do we got here? Oh my God, wait. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I haven't been outside since early morning. And I looked at my phone and it said it was 85 degrees. And I was like, what? It's 85 degrees? Show is over. I'm going to go stand in the driveway. It's 85 degrees? And then it refreshed. And I thought it was 85. But yeah, it turns out it's only 107 degrees outside. Okay. This is unbelievable. I can't believe it. We're all going to die. We're all going to die, I tell you. So today's high is going to be 108. So it's going to go one more than it is right now. So that'll be fun. Be fun when we get to there. But here's the good thing, okay? This might be it, you guys. This might be it. Yeah, we're going out on 108, maybe 109 degree day. But man, it just drops from here on out. This weekend, the highs are going to be 97, both Saturday and Sunday. It says the highs are going to be 97 Saturday and Sunday. Now, I know that for people in Iowa or Ohio, that seems crazy hot. No, not for us. That's nice. That's nice. We'll take that. We'll take anything under triple digits. So 97 over the weekend for both days. Then on Monday, it's going to be 91. Okay, so Monday's going to be a real tease. It's going to be like, wow, it's still freaking hot. I mean, I'm sweating. You can't be outside without sweating because it's 91 and super sunny, but wow. You guys, they say it's going to be 78 degrees for a high on Tuesday. I can't believe it. It's going to rain. It's going to thunderstorm on Tuesday, and it's going to be 78 as a high. That's going to be the high. Oh, my God. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I know I'm getting rained on. Are you people going to go outside in your backyard and do a little rain dance after it rains for the first time in like 4 months? Jeez. And then it looks pretty good, you guys. Seriously, after Tuesday, where the high is going to be 78, which is amazing. After Tuesday, the high is going to be 78. Then it's going to be like, the highs are 81 on Wednesday, 80 on Thursday, 79 on Friday, and then that's where it stops. We can handle that, you guys. That is not bad. Although you just know that like it's going to come back again and kick our ass. Like it's going to be 105 on Halloween, right? We're going to have like a fluke day where it's going to be like, it's 105 on Halloween. Bad year to go is Chewbacca. Okay, let's see. I don't know, Luis Rubiales. He's the former Spanish soccer chief. He's trending. I don't know why he's trending. I thought he got fired. Thought we were done with him. What do we got? An earthquake. 1 hour ago, an earthquake shakes Fall River Mills and Bernie area. Don't know where that is. No idea. Anybody know where Shasta County is? Is that California? They had an earthquake an hour ago. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses show at Busch Stadium has been postponed. This is just within the last hour. I didn't know Guns N' Roses was out touring. Is Guns N' Roses? I would go see Guns N' Roses. Let's see here. The Guns N' Roses concert at Busch Stadium on Saturday has been postponed. A source with the Cardinals confirmed to KMOX News. The Guns N' Roses concert scheduled for Saturday. This is what, 30 years later? You still can't. 30 years ago, if you bought a ticket to a Guns N' Roses concert, there's a 50-50 shot that concert was going to happen. Because Guns N' Roses just cancels concerts. That's what they do. You buy a Guns N' Roses ticket, you go walk up. That's, you go to a Guns N' Roses show, you do walk up day of. You make sure that, Axl's in the right headspace and that everybody's in town. That's another thing. Oh, geez. They played a show, Madison Square Garden show, one of the famous Guns N' Roses incidents. Half the band wasn't there. They just got other guys. It was Axl. but I think like Izzy was missing and I think Duff was missing and whatever. But they played anyway. So here we are like 30 years later, a reformed Guns N' Roses one of the great rock and roll bands in American rock and roll history, and that can't be denied. Guns N' Roses is up there. I know, very small sample size. They were self-destructive, and they probably didn't crank out the kind of material that they could have in the 90s had they kept their shit together. But man, they're an important band. They're the bridge band. Guns N' Roses is the bridge band. What do I mean by that? I'll tell you. So before Guns N' Roses, if you liked rock, I'm not going to talk about country music or opera or hip hop or anything, but rock music, which was still the predominant style of the industry, it fueled the industry. The economy of the music industry was pushed by popular rock music. Popular rock music had devolved into this really sort of redundant mess of Sunset Strip guys wearing makeup and high-heeled boots, and it was gross. It went from, like, you know, in the early days you had like the Scorps and Iron Maiden, and then slowly over time all these other bands started to sort of feminize that whole thing. And what we ended up having were basically like the New York Dolls in 1988 playing on the Sunset Strip. It was basically bands full of men dressed as women. And I hated that stuff. I hated the Poison, and I hated the Motley Crue and the Warrant and the Y&T. It was all so freaking gross. To me, it just felt so redundant. Now, there were some great things in there. Like there are moments, you know, there are moments with all of those bands. Like there are songs in all those bands that I've named that I think are great songs, but just the whole vibe of the whole scene was a bit scuzzy. Guns N' Roses came in at like the tail end of that. Like if you look at early Guns N' Roses, they look like Warrant. They got the teased hair and all that kind of stuff, but their music came from a different place. The influences came from a completely different place. Whereas, you know, most of the bands like that, the Warrants and, you know, the Poisons and all that stuff, those bands were pop bands. They were writing pop songs, very derivative of the Beatles, the British Invasion, verse, chorus, verse. But they were also adding in like what was called Sunset Strip metal type accompaniment. So guitars and all that. So that's what they were doing. Guns N' Roses came from punk rock. Guns N' Roses came from a completely different place. And that's why I say they are the bridge band. You go directly from Warrant to Guns N' Roses to Nirvana. Guns N' Roses is like right in the middle of what Nirvana had and what Poison had. They were right there. They're an important band. The Guns N' Roses concert scheduled for Saturday at Busch Stadium has been postponed. Guests should hang on to their tickets until the makeup date is released. I don't know why. It's all right. Maybe it'll say here. Guns N' Roses is in St. Louis this weekend as the hard rock band continues its 2023 world tour with a stop at Busch Stadium. The band visit to St. Louis will be special as the group does have ties to the St. Louis area, mainly from Guns N' Roses guitarist Richard Fortus. I don't know, whatever. So does it say why? Come on, it's not going to say why it's canceled? No, this is all about the local St. Louis kid, Richard Fortus, who is apparently in Guns N' Roses now. All right, anyway, Guns N' Roses show has been canceled. I don't know why. At this point, it could be like gout. You know, it used to be that, you know, Axl wouldn't stand on stage with Slash, or, you know, Izzy was, you know, missing, or those were the rock and roll reasons that Guns N' Roses used to cancel concerts. Now it's gout. Now it's Axl's gout is bad. Earthquake. Yeah, apparently some earthquakes going on. 42 minutes ago, earthquake. Is this the same one? Is this was Shasta County in California? Is it somewhere over there? Because we got a 5.5 earthquake hit Jalisco, Mexico. So we reported 40 minutes ago. What? Harlan County. Small earthquake reported in Harlan County Friday morning. Earthquake days. This is Google Trends. In the top 10 Google Trends of the moment, there are 3 separate earthquake reports. Earthquake, Puerto Rico, Chile. 5.8 earthquake shakes Puerto Vallarta. Breaking news. All right, what is this? All right, so there's obviously a bunch of earthquakes being reported right now within the last hour. 2 strong earthquakes shake Puerto Vallarta. A pair of significant earthquakes with magnitudes of 5.6 and 5.9 shook Puerto Vallarta and other municipalities in Jalisco and Colima in California Friday afternoon. Amid the quakes, buildings in the city include the Puerto Vallarta International Airport. They were evacuated as precautionary measure. All right, whatever. I don't know. There's earthquakes. I don't know. You guys ever been in an earthquake? Some of you probably. Apparently, I've been in 2 earthquakes. Didn't feel either one of them. Hey, did you know there was an earthquake today? And I'm like, no. Yeah, this whole area got shook. Yeah, I didn't notice. Must have been doing jumping jacks or something at the time, you know. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Oh, apparently, see, I love these two. They're one of my favorite celebrity couples, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. They're renting their house out to Airbnb. How fun would that be? Because they're like never there. They're like, yeah, so why not? That's cool. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis share video of people who rented their house on Airbnb. Let's see what this is. This is a fun couple. I like this couple. I don't know that they're as fun. They're number 2 to Dak Shepard and Kristen Bell. They're my favorites. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis invited strangers into their home with open arms. Last month, the couple listed their house in Santa Barbara for rent on Airbnb, and now Kutcher is sharing how it all went down. In a video posted to Instagram, yeah, I want to watch it. Yeah, okay, we'll watch this video. Are you kidding me? If one of my favorite married couples is making a fun video together in their backyard, you're damn right I'm going to be interested in that. Let's watch it. All right, here, they made a video. Bum, 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 bum. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Oh, Stupid Instagram. You can't control. I don't know how to control Instagram. Like, I don't know how to make it back it up. All right, here we go. I don't know how to make it big. I hate Instagram. How do we start it over? All right, here. What? Oh, no. Don't make me watch it on actual Instagram. Okay, hold on. We got to do it again. I hate that. Why can't everything just be as easy as YouTube? I don't. Because we got to do it different because we've got different ideas. All right, here you go. Let's watch these two. Oh, and of course, there's no sound on Instagram.
Why we decided to Airbnb our house. Airbnb is a platform that brings strangers together by encouraging people to connect and create relationships. And we were like, that sounds fun.
And then here we are. Why are we doing this?
Okay, well, so a bunch of people online, even our guests, asked why we decided to Airbnb our house. Airbnb is a platform that brings strangers together.
Hold on, I have a question about the whole Airbnb thing because I've never done it. Is that a thing? You like have to meet the people who own the house? Because if Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are there, are they like on the property? Like, didn't that look like? Because look, if it's Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, that's totally cool. That's fine. I mean, they were just showing videos of them greeting the renters and then hanging out in the living room with the renters. And again, I say, if that's Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, cool. I'll hang out with them in the living room. But if it's just regular people who I'm get out of here. I don't want to have to hang out with you. You weird, awkward hanging out. And I hate the weird, awkward hangs, you know? Like, you ever like back in the day, you'd like go to some drug dealer's house to buy a bag of weed and you'd go to their apartment and you'd go into their apartment and you'd have to sit on a couch while the dude goes in the other room to get his weed because you can't have the weed somewhere because there's a bunch of other people hanging out at the house and they'll steal it. So he's got to go into another room to get the weed that he's promised to sell you. And now you spend 10 minutes sitting on a couch in some funky apartment with a bunch of people you don't know. I don't want to do that with Airbnb. However, if it's Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, well, that's a whole different thing, right? I'll hang out with them. Let's see. What else do we have? What else is trending here? Google Trends. Kim Kardashian is trying to get Joe Biden to do something. I don't know what it is. Something about the Armenian massacre. I don't know. What else do we have here? Woo! Sasha Obama. Look at it. Look at the little Sasha Obama on page 6. Sasha Obama wears bikini top, oversized pants as she smokes a cigarette with her friends. This is, I've seen this a couple of times. Sasha Obama, who is 22 years old, smokes cigarettes, which is very interesting because nobody smokes cigarettes anymore. Why isn't Sasha Obama vaping? Why isn't she's weirdly smoking cigarettes? Let's see what she looks like. Hold on. Never mind. It's taking forever. I don't really care that much that Sasha Obama is hanging out with friends in the summer wearing a bikini top. Because, it's summer. And I just saw the picture. It looks like she's at a place where a bikini top is what you'd wear. I don't know. Not that anybody's trying to just... let's see here. I'm very protective of first daughters. I'm very, very protective of first daughters ever since my wonderful run-in one Easter morning a few years back with a Barbara Bush, a young Barbara Bush. Not Jenna. Remember George W.? He had the 2 daughters. He had the blonde and the brunette. Barbara was the brunette. Easter morning, probably 2013, 2012. Probably 2012 Easter morning. I'm over at a park here in the HP with my son at the time, Mason, very early in the morning. Cause I don't know if you know this, but 3-year-olds, they wake up early. So it was Easter morning and we went to the park. His mama was coming to pick him up later. So we went to the park and, we were the only people there and he's on the swing. He's going back and forth and I'm sitting on a little bench watching him on the swing. And then all of a sudden I see this BMW, this silver BMW come pulling in all by itself, right? And I'm like, ooh, look at this person pulling in really quick. And then right behind it, here comes a black SUV. The black SUV pulls in behind it. Out of the BMW pops a young lady. Looks like, I'm in Highland Park, so she looks like any other SMU college student. So she gets out of her car, right? And she starts stretching and she's got some running stuff on and she starts walking towards the track. Now, I am now at this point pushing my kid. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I mean, all right, if I'm being honest, I knew something was going on because I knew that black SUV was not, this was somebody. This was protective detail. I knew that. So she comes walking up. And again, it's like probably 8 o'clock in the morning on Easter morning. And we're the only people in the park. And she walks over and she's futzing with her earbuds and all that stuff, getting her music on. She's going for a jog. And by the way, she's got 2 guys just got out of the car behind her, the black SUV. And they're going to jog with her. They're wearing exercise clothes. I'm like, whoa, okay. So the Secret Service really does run with these people when they're under protection. So at this point, she walks up. I know exactly who she is. I'm like, oh, my God. And I say to my 3-year-old, I go, hey, it's first daughter Barbara Bush. And he looks at me like, what's a first daughter? I'm 3. He has no idea. So knowing that the absolute best icebreaker to meet people is an adorable child, I take Mason out of the little swing and he starts walking over to me and now she's coming there and he turns to this person and he goes, hi, like little kids do. And she gets down and she goes, well, hi, what's your name? And I get up and I go, oh, I'm sorry. This is Mason. And she's like, well, hi, Mason. I'm Barbara. And I go, oh, hi, Barbara. Nice to meet you. I'm John. I'm, her dad. And she's like, nice to meet you. She's like, how old are you, man? She was so nice to him. And then she just ran off. So I feel that my job now is to be protective of first daughters because the one first daughter that I met was a delight. She was so nice. She really was so nice. It was like, it was crazy. Cause like you would think that like someone who grew up in the Bush family in Highland Park would be an awful person. She wasn't. She was very sweet. So I'm very protective of first daughters. So we're not going to be showing Sasha Obama, 22 years old in a bikini top smoking a cigarette. I don't know why there's anything wrong with that. I do. Isn't that interesting, though, that she has made a conscious choice to smoke actual cigarettes? I mean, her and a bunch of 65-year-olds. Those are the only people that are still smoking cigarettes. Irish rugby is trending. I could probably do a good 20 minutes on that, but I won't. All right, that's going to do it. We're done. Plug this back in. Let's get rid of that. We don't need. What are we looking at there? Is that still the... Yeah, that was still the Airbnb. All right, guys. is going to do it. Let's see here. Hold on. Boom. Can you guys see? I don't know if you can tell. I am dripping in sweat. It is so hot. I mean, the air conditioning works. It's just this particular place where I do the show. You can see the sun right behind me. That sun just beats down on my back all show long. I have just a river of sweat running through my back. It's gross. It's very gross. Kelly and I are going to do some practical picks. We'll be releasing that over the weekend, probably on Saturday, hopefully on Saturday. I would assume that you'll be able to find it on the Radio Misfits, but I'll be sharing it on my social medias and all that stuff. So follow me on Twitter, Pugs Moran. Follow me on Facebook, Pugs Moran. Follow me on Threads, Pugs Moran. And, just you find me all those places. See you Monday. Or as always, if there's any big breaking news over the weekend, something needs to be covered in real time, I like to do that. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to jump on, but who knows, hopefully there's nothing really terrible that happens. That's the catch-22 of that whole situation. Like, I want to do streams, but then it's always about something bad that's happening. And that kind of makes me feel like a profiteer, even though I'm not really making any money, but it is a bit exploitive. Is it exploitive or informative? I don't know. I go back and forth on this. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. And yes, Adam, I would tend to agree with you that a giant should be able to take a simple cowboy. Will Kelly see it that way?
I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.